Well, hello, all you wizards and witches and all you in-betweens. I've been saying for the longest time that I was gonna do a video on the magic of water. Uh, Water is so very important. Water is able to hold memory, and our ancient ancestors knew this. Um, Hence, holy water, which has been prayed over and a blessing has been put into it. Um, Baptism, because, in Christianity, if you're baptized, it washes away your sins. So, the water is absorbing your sins, your the negativity. The Hindus, I believe, do this too. There's a certain river, and they go in and they submerge themselves in this water, in the river. Um, the Hebrews do it. The ancient, what's it called? The ritual baths. So this this knowledge somehow, which is another video, but these ancient ancestors of ours, they knew this. How they knew it, I know, but it would definitely be another video. Very curious thing. Um, in the beginning of this video, there were photos um, that were taken by Dr. Emoto in 1994. And if you have not seen Dr. Emoto's water experiments, I urge you and encourage you to look at them on YouTube. There's quite a few on YouTube. Very amazing, very groundbreaking research. Um, and it connects to what our ancient ancestors somehow knew. But during Dr. Emoto's experiments, um, during the observation, there was various ways um, that they would conduct the experiment in order to have the water crystal, when it was frozen, to take its shape. And one of the experiments was simply showing the jar of water a letter or letters, um, showing the water pictures, photos. Um, Another one which is quite amazing is playing music. Um, and then the fourth one is you're praying, giving the water a blessing. I do think that the water experiments that have the music, if you look at those photos, just totally amazing. And they could take um, Dr. Emoto, he would it could be from the most polluted water, and they would photograph it, or they would, yeah, they'd photograph it before, and then they would freeze it, and then they would, under a very sophisticated microscope, they would view the water crystal, and it would be very distorted and all of that. But then they would take that same water sample and they would play like Beethoven or Bach or some kind of music like that, freeze it, and then view it through the telescope, the water crystal, and if it was music like I had mentioned, Beethoven or Bach, the water crystal just had beautiful geometric shapes. However, the same water, if it were played heavy metal, rap music, the after it was frozen and then they would view it, the water crystal was very grotesque, which says a lot about the harmonics that the music industry puts out, intentionally, really. And this isn't against anybody that likes rap music or heavy metal music. This is not my intentions here. These are just experiments that shows that these, you know, that this water would change depending on the type of music it was listening to. In my view, and not to get political or conspiracy theorist or anything like that, I do believe that the music industry, Hollywood, they know well what they're doing. Um, but anyways, having said that, when and I'm linking this to magic because a lot of I happen to do a lot of jar magic spells, and I use water a lot, and I call it structured water because I use some very powerful 24 Gauss magnets to pull negative ions through the water. But another thing, and it's I have like a 5 gallon jar over there by my altar. But a part of structuring this water, I had like about a table and a half of pink Himalayan salt with some water, and I dilute it down, and then I pour, probably about a tablespoon into this 5 gallon jar of water. You don't want to use a metal spoon. I use a wooden spoon, which from my research, you really shouldn't use metal on it. At least in my case, since I'm using magnets. But what after you get the salt in, you uh, stir this water, and in the hemisphere where I am, you stir it counterclockwise. If you're in another hemisphere on Earth, you might have to stir the water in a different direction. And people that are in the craft know that spirals and vortexes are very important. If you're unsure of which direction you should be spinning your water, or for that mean different things within the practice, all you have to do is flush your toilet and see which way the water goes down into the toilet bowl, and that's going to be the direction that you're going to want to create your vortexes and spirals, this type of thing, right? So, anyways, as I am swirling this water, I am saying to this water, um, well, I start out, the first thing I say as I'm swirling this water is, this water has the magical abilities of rejuvenating and restoring the atoms within our bodies. And after I've said that, um, then I speak the words, I love you, I love you, I love you. And as most of you in the craft know, it is really important to give gratitude. So the last thing I say is thank you, thank you, thank you. And I'm putting this intent into this water. And I drink it. I use it for my sweet tea. I use it for my coffee. So, and this really isn't a video about jar magic, but I'm gonna touch on it a little bit. But it's the water that I want to focus on. Most cases, um, I will add water to my jar, and the reason I do it, do you remember? It's because water holds memory. It has the ability to hold memory. So, depending on what spell I'm casting, I would put the corresponding herbs, gemstones, um, into the water. You can write a petition on a piece of paper and stick it down in there, because keep in mind, with Dr. Emoto's research, he would simply show the water a word, and the water crystals would change to these beautiful geometric shapes. So this is what I'm saying about write your intent, what your magical spell that you're casting, what it's for. Write it on a piece of paper and stick it down into the water with your corresponding herbs, roots, bark, gemstones, this type of thing. Um, and these, you can get these at the dollar store. I don't know if you can really see these, but they're colored. You know, you can get a whole package of them, you know, for $1. Different colors. Um, these particular colors here may not always match what you're casting your spell for. because they're kind of pastel colors and stuff, but it certainly, if it's a love or a peace or, you know, something like that, these colors would work. If it was a different kind of spell, if you were trying to um, banish something or bind something, a banishing spell, binding spell, you know, as you know in the craft, your intent is what is going to count. Okay, so but the dollar stores, they have different kinds of labels. I've got some over there that I put on my herb jars that are kind of brown and pretty cool. So if you were doing a banishing or a binding spell, I have seen um, that other people will use brown, which black is often used, but I've also seen brown used. But anyways, the reason that I brought up these labels, what I do, I write my intent on this label, and then I stick it to the jar. So it is already, the herbs have their intent, um, the gemstones, if you use bark and all this stuff. But placing the sticker with your intent written on it, sticking that on the jar is very effective. And I got to tell you, it's very effective because I've done it. That was another, because I once wanted Dr. Emoto's videos on YouTube, and they were explaining that in some of the experiments with the jars of water, they would write the word and stick it onto the jar of water, not not verbalizing anything, not a spoken word, simply writing a word on a piece of paper and sticking it to the jar. And the end results, when they looked at it, the water crystal, the frozen rock water crystal, depending on the word, but let's say it was love or peace, um, beautiful, beautiful geometric shapes. Um, and if they put the word "I hate your guts" or something on it, the water crystal was this just hideous, grotesque looking water crystal. So, and 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 I'll reiterate it. They didn't speak anything to this water. It was under a very controlled, experimental environment. So there was no music introduced. There was no spoken words. It was simply written on a piece of paper. But when you're spell casting and you're holding this jar of water and you're, because I am all about the spoken word, creating a frequency, a vibration. So, you've spoken to this water, you put your intent in it, your herbs have the intent in it, and then as an added thing, you write write your intent on a sticker and put it on the jar with the water, and the water is going to retain that information. And as I said, that I'm not. This isn't really about jar magic, but um, since I got into a little bit of this, you know, I would, depending on the kind of spell that I'm casting, um, I would put a corresponding colored candle on the top, and of course, you can do a lot of things with the candle, but I'm not getting into that in this video. But you could put a candle on top, corresponding color, with your intent infused into it, burn that candle down, and it makes for a very, very, very powerful way to cast spells simply from the magic of water. H2O. And like I said in the very beginning of the video, I really encourage all of you to check out Dr. Emoto's water experiments. There's quite a few of them on YouTube, but it's totally amazing. And water being one of the elements that we use in our craft, I think it's really important to understand water and how its magical, spiritual qualities. It just something. Well, this is something very interesting too. Running water seems to, when water is running, it, through experiments, they discovered that running water releases negative ions. So, as an example, you go to work and you had a really crappy day at work, and you come in and you take a shower. I don't know if everybody takes a shower when they come in, but I can go to the grocery store and I come in and take a shower. I just, but you had a hard day and you come in and you take a bath. Doesn't it make you feel better? It's interesting. And I realize that there are different religious beliefs, within the craft, pagan and everything. But, earlier when I mentioned baptism within Christianity and how the water is supposed to take your sins away, well, you know, Jesus forgives your sins or something, but there's a connection to the baptism thing and submerging you with water. And in those days, I'm guessing they were doing it in a river or something, which would have been running water. But, I'm not saying that water has to be running, because I know in a lot of Christian churches, at least in the Protestant denominations, they have just like some kind of, it's something like kind of bigger than a hot tub or something that will be in the church, and they will baptize people in it. It's not necessarily running, but you know what? It's just the fact that you're submerging yourself in it, and that water is taking everything away from you. And the reason I'm saying that is because water receives information and holds information, and so it's taken it away from you. I'm assuming, not really assuming, I kind of believe it. I'm not a part of any organized religion or anything like that, but I'm certainly familiar with Christianity and all that. But Yeah, pretty amazing stuff. You know, if you're in the craft and you haven't really researched the element of water, I suggest that you do it, especially if you do jar magic. You know, in the craft, um, and I know I do this, and many traditions do it. Before you spell cast and stuff, you're supposed to kind of ritually cleanse yourself, however it is that you do it, whether it's in a bath with, sea salt or herbs from your garden, whatever. You're going through the motions with this water, and in a lot of magical traditions, you're purifying and cleansing yourself first. Um, and in a lot of the traditions, it's done with water. So it's something to think about. And anyways, you know what? I've been saying for a while that I was going to make a video about structured water, programmed water, and I finally kind of got around to it. Um, and one last time, I'm gonna encourage you to check out Dr. Emoto's water experiments because it'll blow you away. If you haven't already seen his research, it is totally amazing. Anyways, I believe Dr. Emoto passed away some years back and stuff, but his groundbreaking research is gonna be forever. So, anyways, having said that, I would like to give a shout out and a thank you to Dr. Emoto. The photos in the beginning of the video were photos of his experiments, and I'll be giving him credit for it at the end of the video and everything. But yeah, thank you, Dr. Emoto. I know you're right here, probably around me somewhere here, because I'm talking about your experiment. So just wanted to thank Dr. Emoto and thank all you wizards and witches and all you in-betweens for watching this video. And I hope that you